I guess time flies when you're having fun building your car, because we're already at the tuners. It seems like we just started on this build and we're already pretty much finished, and hopefully problem-free. I mean, we got it here in one piece. No fuel leaks, no exhaust leaks.
Not that I can see or smell.
That's awesome. That's exactly what you want before your tune date. We've got Chase here, our lead engineer, to kind of explain the ins and outs of everything that's going on in there. We're going to be making some decent power, and that's what we're expecting anyway, with all these bolt-ons, the fueling mods, and sort of a stage 2, stage 3 type build. We're expecting a pretty healthy gain, and you know, we'll get our numbers in the dyno, and then we'll take it out. And Muchee, you can be the big deciding factor on exactly what difference it made, because you've been driving this car for what, a year?
A year.
About a year. So it's going to be a totally different animal, hopefully. So let's get in there and see what our tuner can do. One of the do's and don'ts of tuning is don't come to the dyno with winter tires on. It's kind of a Minnesota problem. We forget because we had a snowstorm last week and now it's like a 70-degree day. So you're gonna lose some, well, it's gonna read lower. You're not necessarily gonna lose power on winter tires, but if it's a soft compound, definitely gonna read lower. So we're gonna see what we get for the base number, but we're expecting it to be potentially up to 10% lower than we normally would on nice summer tires.
Yeah, so what we did was
it's kind of the more boring part of tuning, but for some people it can be the sketchy part. It's kind of the, is it going to work? Is something bad going to happen? And one of the things that we were worried about initially is something a lot of people don't think about, but the car we brought in still has snow tires in it because it was still snowing in Minnesota, you know, as of past week. But it came in and he inched his way in, just like you do when you're tuning an unknown car with a bunch of unknown parts on it. And little by little, it was looking good and looking good, and you know, I didn't make a bunch more power out of anywhere because that would be insane. It made exactly what we expect for an STI with these parts on an 18 PSI tube. So now that we know everything is good and square, we're going to take the 91 piss water out of it and put E85 in it, and then make a couple more horsepower in it, and then make the fun meter really get right up there.
Out of the tank, getting all the pump gas out, and then that way we can put E85 in. We'll end up with about E65 in the car's gas tank when we're done and tuning it. That way we can get the full flex fuel tune done.
All the power. Special kind of nerd to appreciate getting excited over one. What can I say?
Alright, we've been tuning for about an hour or so. Chase, you want to catch everyone up to speed on what's happening in there?
Yeah, right now we're basically teaching the car to like corn, and this is really my favorite part of dyno tuning, where we have a good baseline, and you know, he knows exactly what he has to do to fuel, and you're just doing incremental tuning where you're trying to hit the fuel targets that he's trying to hit, and then the boost we've already tuned, so that's fine. And then you can start adjusting timing. So every pull that he does right now, it's getting a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better, and it's always fun to see. And you know, we have our guesses as to what it's going to make, and it's getting awfully close. I can't wait to be wrong because I like to go low. He went high, so it should be fun. But this is my favorite part. It's just better and better and better. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
With that black car that's out there, actually, we went and we did both the tunes. We did a 30 PSI tune pull and then the 40 PSI tune pull, and they both were within 26%, 25 to 26% of our shootout, our flywheel numbers, as compared to what we make here. So they're making that much more. So
that's funny because I can independently confirm that too. Is that we saw the exact same differences. We saw a 27% difference between dyno and then the dyno that we were using at. Now we'll blur out the names of those companies. But
will we though?
I'll have to, yeah. So that's literally, when they talk about Heartbreaker dyno, this thing still made great power. 293 horsepower is ridiculous. But if we were to put this on, you know, a comparable dyno jet, it's obviously going to make the exact same amount of power, but it would say 377, or it would say 365. At the end of the day, though, that's where the fun is. 425 foot-pounds of torque. And overlaid, this is just a stock STI dyno. We didn't do a baseline dyno today.
Nope.
This is a stock STI. This is what is expected to happen. So this is you driving off the lot. You think you're having a good time, and you don't even know yet.
This is you driving to GrimmSpeed.
Yeah.
And go to JM to tune it.
Yeah, great job, man.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Cool. Thank you. For sure.
Tits.
Slow clap. No. It's hard to slow clap with 3 people.
Yeah, we've been trying a lot.
Here we are having our celebratory drinks. Cheers to a job well done. We started the car build about 4 days ago, and a lot has happened in that time frame. We just got finished with the tune, and all went well. We figured we'd reminisce a little bit over where we started it all. So we started with a pretty much factory car, had exhaust, catback done, GrimmSpeed catback. Started with the fueling mods. First we did the fuel pump, which went pretty easy. The new age STIs have a little bit more of a complicated module, which took us a minute, but overall went well. Spilled a little fuel, puffed a little bit of it on accident. Then we moved things up to the engine bay, still under fuel. We started doing the injectors. Relatively easy installation, minus all the stuff you have to move out of the way. There's a couple big brackets, some wiring, things that weren't necessarily around on the older generations that make it a little bit of a tougher job. But with a pair of extra hands and just the right tools, really, it made it easy. A lot of extensions and a lot of swivel sockets. We moved on to the exhaust work afterwards, so we did downpipe, uppipe, relatively easy installs. Again, if you have stuff off already, the top mount was off for us. Some of that shielding and wiring was out of the way. So dropping the downpipe, dropping the uppipe, very easy. Having a lift help. It's not like lying on your back in your garage trying to get things through. So that definitely helped out. Afterwards, what do we move on to? Intake, intercooler, BCS. We did the 3-port. So that was a matter of wiring things in and sort of fitting everything up, doing the final touches on everything. And it was just making sure, hey, do we have all the connectors plugged in? Do we have all the hoses in and zip tied, and make sure they're not going anywhere? And then adding a few of those extra things. Heat shield, we added battery tie down, a couple aesthetic things, radiator shroud, just to make it look good after the fact. And then kind of along with all the fueling mods that we made, it actually freed up a lot of space in the engine bay. The intake did especially, and then the flex fuel from Cobb. Pretty much eliminated half the lines, which was pretty cool with their fuel pressure regulator kit. So a lot was done. The engine bay looks awesome, as you guys have seen, and more importantly, when we got to the dyno, nothing leaked, no hoses popped off, everything went smoothly, and we got the 91 tune in, we got the E85 tune. We were expecting something, a little fuel leak here or something to be disconnected, but all went according to plan. It couldn't have been a smoother process. Part of that was being patient and paying attention to the installation. Part of it was choosing great parts from great manufacturers. So we got Cobb, AEM, of course GrimmSpeed stuff, Injector Dynamics, all great stuff, which you paid a little more for in the beginning, but it all pays off in the end, because especially, I've been to many dyno sessions where they have eBay parts on them and it takes 4 hours and the tune still isn't done. It took us a fraction of that time. Everything went great based on the parts of the installation. So if we have one big thing of advice is spend your money wisely, get parts that'll fit your car and work correctly. And my favorite phrase, buy once, cry once. Not 24 times. So, what are your impressions? You happy with everything?
I love it so far. Made good numbers. Got to drive it a little bit more just to feel things out. And I think it's a great start, especially with all the parts that I got. It's a good, I guess you could say, add-ons like external wastegate and for future mods and stuff like that. So I'm leaving myself tons of space to go into.
Room to grow, and I think that's what a lot of you guys are doing. You're starting with a stage 2 type setup and leaving yourself room to grow. And with something like this, the fueling mods especially are pretty much done for whatever reasonable power you want to run. And when we're talking about exhaust, like the downpipe and uppipe, same thing here. You mentioned you can tag an external wastegate on it now, since we have the block off, we can exchange that. But something like the downpipe, the intercooler, intake, all that stuff is made to handle 400, 500, 600 horsepower. And so unless you're really making a hardcore drag car or something like that, all of these parts are always gonna work. So you're never replacing them with something else. And that's kind of how we like to design our parts, is that we wouldn't want you to have to switch out a downpipe because it's too restrictive for your 500 horsepower build or something like that. So Muchee's pretty much set up for everything, and yeah, sky's the limit with this car.
Exactly.
I'm standing here surrounded by a couple fresh batches of external wastegate up pipes, and it's good timing because one of you guys is gonna win one, as we promised. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna grab a pipe here, we're gonna find someone that isn't me to do the random drawing. Looks like Corey, our assembly manager, is right there, so we're gonna see if he wants to do the honors. Corey, we need to pick a winner.
I can do that.
You're gonna be picking it for us, perfect. So hold on to the pipe, I'm gonna bring up the Instagram post. So you guys watched our last video, commented on this Instagram post that we put up for the giveaway, and there are a ton of people that commented and liked it, so thank you. A lot of subscribers on our YouTube channel, that's always awesome. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Watch our video series, and now you've seen the finale, so go back and watch the episodes you haven't yet. So what I'm gonna do is scroll through this pretty randomly here, and then, Corey, you wanna close your eyes? I don't want any cheating to go on. Okay, and put your finger on one of them and hold it there. That way I know who it is. Okay, thank you. And it is Sammy Alipur. I'm gonna go ahead and bring that up. Looks like we follow you already, which is awesome. Thank you very much. You have a 2015 STI. Hopefully you don't have an external wastegate up pipe on it yet, because this is gonna be an awesome upgrade for you, just like it was on Muchee's car. So everyone who participated, thank you so much. We're happy that you watched the video series and subscribed and liked our page and our content. We're gonna be putting out a lot more of this stuff, especially since you guys have been asking for it over and over. So expect more in the future. But for now, congratulations to the winner.